Okay, welcome back. Let's talk blades because that's what we're into. Today I got something different for you guys. An employee and friend, coworker of mine, decided to pass this along to me so I could clean it up for him. It's a Walking Dead machete, or machete from the Walking Dead lineup, anyways, from the many ones that were in the Walking Dead. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say. But I want to do this differently. I want to do this with household items that you guys might actually have instead of, all the high-end cleaning materials and cleaning substances that I have. I'm going to be using two things that you could find in a grocery store or that you can find in your pantry or underneath your sink. And two of my own that you could actually get for a few bucks online, whether it be Amazon or eBay or wherever you go to try and find these. Or you can go to your local knife store and see if they actually have any. They might. But yeah, I'm going to do this. I've done this once before in the past. So this is going to be sort of new for me to do it again this time today. So just to let you know, I don't know what's in this bag. I have no idea what it looks like. I can tell that it's the size. Obviously, it's not that big. It's just the bag makes it look big. It's not. I guess I'm not really going to do too much of a review on it. I'm going to do the specs on it if you guys are interested in it. It is from a company called Gerber, and I do have a few Gerber knives. But every time I think of Gerber, I think of baby food. So I'll save that for another video so it can stay, I don't want to trail off. But I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to use simple stuff. So what I'm going to show you right now is what I'm going to use. Of course, we will open this as soon as I show you guys what I'm going to use. So I have here Star White Wine Vinegar. So that's what I'm going to use to try and remove, or at least I was going to use a spray bottle, but it looks like I can't find an empty spray bottle to actually use this, so I'm going to have to kind of pour it, I guess. And we're going to use a little bit of baking soda. Now you can buy this at your local grocery store, or you could get this anywhere else, or have it if you have it in your house. So yeah, there's that. And of course, I'm going to use, after I'm done cleaning it, if things get a little rough, obviously I'm going to use this rust eraser right here, and I've had this for years. I've barely had to use it. It used to be a little bigger than this, probably just a little bit more bigger. But I've been using this very sparingly, and you can find it online. Just type in rust eraser, and it's literally just a block of rubber, but it's a special kind of rubber with some sort of compound that's mixed in it that is supposed to help remove the rust. So if things get a little too hairy and I'm obviously not doing it right, or if I don't feel like it's really working with the vinegar and baking soda, this will come into play. And of course, to finish everything off, once everything is cleaned up, I'm going to use this Metal Glow. Cleans, polishes, and protects, removes tarnish and oxidation. So just as a kind of like a little rub-on type thing, this is kind of what I used to use. I actually found this in my cleaning supply kit. It had a little bit of a hole right here at the very end, and there was a little bit coming out, so I'm hoping it still works. I think it will. I don't think the oxygen's really going to affect it too much as long as it wasn't completely open, which this cap is on there pretty tight. So either way, I'm going to use a little bit of this to help that, whatever's in there. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got. This will be the first time I've ever opened this up, so oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. I was not Oh, dear freaking Buddha. This is... Oh, this poor blade. Oh. Oh. All right, everybody, let's get a moment of silence for this blade here. Good Lord! Oh, I'm speechless. This this is probably the worst. You know what? No, this isn't the worst that I've ever seen. A buddy of mine brought me a katana years back to restore. He left his katana stabbed into a stump for like, I think it was like for almost a week. And I don't know why he left it out there. I don't know if he thought it was, oh, he was doing an art project and yeah, that's right. He was using it as an art project. He had to take a few pictures with it. He just forgot it and he left it out in his backyard stabbed in a stump and it got all rusted. And that thing took me forever to clean up. But this, oh man. So what I'm so sorry. This is, wow. Oh, this poor knife. Oh, this poor blade. This poor, I don't even know what to call it. It's a machete, but oh, great beard of Odin. This is so rusted. Oh my gosh. Well, good thing I have this, so, because I was going to use my other stuff on it, and good thing I thought quickly about it. So, we're going to... I'm sorry. This is... Wow. Alright, I didn't expect it to be this bad. Oh, man, this is fantastic. Alright, cool. This is going to be fun, then. I'm going to love it. Alright. So, I'm going to remove my ring. I didn't expect it to be like this. Oh... Oh, man. All right, so the first thing, I'm going to pour some of this white wine vinegar on there and try and loosen things up a little bit. Well, the spray bottle would have been nice if I had one, but I don't. So why not? Why not, man? Let's go ahead and get some white wine vinegar on this bad boy and hope for... Oh man, I wish I had a spray bottle that I could have put this in. Oh, you can smell it. You can smell it. So yeah. Sorry if the camera's starting to shake a little bit, because now I need to do this in a way so that way... Oh, sorry. So yeah, you know what? It's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that hard to do. Oh, man. What I want to do is I want to take a tool to the handle and take off those nuts and bolts, but I'm afraid that if I do that, I run a really, really high risk of damaging something, because when bolts are rusted like that, usually means that it's probably going to be stuck. So I'm just going to do the best I can just to clean the surface areas that I can see that obviously have this rusting, and I know the rust obviously is going to have a little bit of pitting that follows it depending on how bad the rust got. But it looks like there's a protective layer on there already because of the black. The black, I don't know if that's like a nitrite coating. But this is already coming off, so that's a good sign. Could just be dust and dirt, or might have been caked on tree sap from when this was being used, but just to let you guys know, I have done this once before, so I'm not too unfamiliar with it. Obviously, I wouldn't have known anything about this if I haven't used this before. But I had to use regular household items to get the rust off of a lot of damaged kitchenware in the past. And that was a really interesting experience because the people that I talked to, especially people that I worked with when I did work at a knife shop, told me that there's stuff that actually can remove it if you don't mind using it. And because this is a machete, it's not really a high-end piece. You can use a whole lot of stuff, household stuff, that can remove rust. Obviously, the rust on here is pretty bad, but that's okay. I mean, it's gonna be like that. Oh, okay. So I see. Okay, so if you see here, this is where the blade is. The actual blade itself. It starts at this line, and then it goes up, and then it curves. And I can see the line. It's very faint, but you can see it. So this black coating is still on this part of the blade, but you still got the blade portion that's exposed. That's probably got the worst of the rust on there. So I'm just gonna keep using the white wine vinegar on it a little bit. I probably should have got something that would help scrub it better than just a rag. I probably should have taken a look at this before, but I wanted you guys to see it with me. And this is, oh man, this is so good. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm not trying to make fun or anything. I mean, it's just, it's what happens. You know, it happens to blades. I even had a few rusted blades from purposeful neglect because I just didn't care. I just took it outside, and I had throwing knives. I actually threw one in one of my friend's backyard, and it spun and it hit a fence, his fence, and we left it there for months just to see what would happen. And it was so overly like rusted, and it was a very interesting thing to see. So this kind of reminds me of that time. And we took it out. It took us forever to get it out. It was like stuck in there. So right now I'm not really too concerned. I'm just trying to get some of the loose rust off. But if you really wanted to, you could get like Scotch-Brite or something scrubby that could help with the process if you're just using white wine vinegar to remove rust. I haven't really used the baking soda, so let's go ahead and just to let you know, this stuff isn't as abrasive as you think it is. I've used it on knives before. You just got to be delicate on the amount of how much of it you're using. Just be mindful when you do this. And this is a machete, so this is meant for outdoor use. This is meant for, I mean, it's looking a little better. Look at that. One side's looking a little bit more normal than the other side, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on. I'm just going to flip the blade around, and I'm going to use more of this white wine vinegar to get off. I wish I had a spray bottle to put that stuff in. I really do. And I was going to purchase a spray bottle at my local store that I go to, but they didn't have any empty spray bottles, and I'm not about to empty out one of my spray bottles just to use it for white wine vinegar. I'm not about to do that. Sorry, it's not going to happen. No, I'm not Canadian. I just said sorry because I heard somebody say it at work one time, and I just couldn't stop saying it. Just thought it was interesting. So yeah, right now my goal is just to get off whatever loose rust I can get off the surface using the white wine vinegar. And then I will scale down to whatever methods I feel is okay to use. All the while, I'm just going to blab off with my mouth and tell you guys unnecessary, unimportant information. But doing so, I guess, kind of helps ease. Yeah, this thing has been used for chopping something because I can see the streaks of whatever was left here on this blade when it was used for cutting whatever, branches, vines, probably branches more or less. The person who entrusted me this knife is hecka funny. The guy that owns this blade, he's really funny, and his son's a YouTuber. Go ahead and if you want to, go ahead and check him out. He makes music. His channel is called Little Big Synths. If you want to show him some love, please do. He is also a good friend of mine, and he hails from the same family, and the person who owns this blade and his son are two people that I have the honor working with and the pleasure working with. They're just great people. They really are. Whenever I'm having a bad day, they know exactly how to make me smile. They know exactly what to say to make me feel better. They're just good people. They're great people. They're hecka funny, hecka smart, very wise. So, but yeah, I mean, it's coming off some of the rust here. You can see the Gerber logo right there, just barely. There's that little Gerber, and then you see the mountain in the background with a sword stabbed into it. So it's getting there. It's getting there. It's just, you know, I think what would really help, if you really, really wanted to, you could leave it on the blade. If you want to use vinegar, you could leave it on the blade for a little bit before you decide to try and do any type of scrubbing or rubbing. But like I said, my goal is just to get off whatever surface rust there that's loose enough to come off. So there's just a little bit of that. I can still see the blade, so it's not completely gone, but I can tell that this machete very badly needs to be sharpened. Pretty soon I'm going to do a video on a new sharpening item that I'm going to be getting from Amazon here pretty soon. I'm going to be really excited to use it on this channel. It'll be the first time I'm ever going to actually use it. I've used it before at a friend's house, and I really like it, which is what's leading me to purchase this item. But you guys are just going to have to wait on that. I'm going to be sharpening some stuff way better than just my triangle sharpener from Spyderco. And my little keychain sharpener that you guys saw in one video. Which does work, it's just not as effective, I assume. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how things play out. So yeah. So there's a little bit of the surface rust. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of baking soda. Obviously I'm going to use baking soda and white wine vinegar. I'm just going to put the baking soda on there. I'm going to cake it on there first. And then I'm going to use the baking soda with it. So I'm just going to try and spread it on there as evenly as possible. Kind of rub it in there. It helps kind of get in all the little microscopic cracks and pores, and if you can see, it's already doing its part. When the white is turning colors, it's actually removing some of the rust. So you could also, you know, do this however way you want to do it, but it does help. Now, is this the end-all be-all? No, there are other methods and other ways, and people are always going to tell you, oh, I do it this way, or you should do it that way, or you can do it however way you want to do it. But I'm just trying to show you guys that there are different methods of removing rust with household products, and you don't always have to spend too much money on things that you're not familiar with and methods that you don't know about. But You can go about it however way you want to. Alright, so I rubbed it in just a little bit, and you can see, look at that. See that? The white is turning brown. That means that it's removing some of the rust. So that's always a good sign. And you're going to be doing this for a little while, so don't expect it to just work right away. Alright, so now I'm going to use a little bit of vinegar on there. And then I'm just going to use the rubbing process. And it's coming off. It is, it's coming off. So that's a good thing. Ah. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it in frame as best as I can. I was trying to... Okay. So it's getting there. You can actually see a little bit of the blade right there. So the rust is coming off. So, yeah. All right. And of course, you can repeat this process a dozen times. And in the process of doing this, you can get better at it with time. And the better you get at it. Oh yeah, look at that. The blade's coming through. So it's doing pretty good. Now if I flip it, it's got, you know, a little bit of baking soda. Let me just go ahead and... Ooh, that was a lot. Now you don't really need a whole heck of a lot of baking soda. But because of this being the way that it is, I think it's best to use baking soda, or a decent chunk of baking soda, so you can get it in there. Just rub it in, rub the baking soda in like you saw me do. And what you want to do, like I said, is you want to see that brown come out of that white from the baking soda. And it does help remove a lot of that rust. And it does. It really does a number on the rust. And you can see, just from the light alone, take a little bit of that and then rub it into that rust right there. And you can see it's already kind of powdering up a little bit. It's coming off. So that's a good thing. And this is just household items that you could see. And as you're doing this, people, please be careful. This blade I know is dull. So if I knew it was sharper than this, if you're doing anything with a knife, use extra caution and know how sharp your blade is. And don't do it by hand if you know if it's going to be too sharp for you to handle. Please use extra caution when cleaning anything that's sharp. The last thing you want to do is cut yourself badly or put yourself in the hospital, especially nowadays. It's not something you guys want to do. So just be very mindful. Be aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it. Use common sense, please. I wouldn't be handling this by hand had I known it was going to be really, really sharp. But because of the rust, this edge on here is very not sharp. I can tell just by looking at it. But it's actually a cool little, you know, zombie tool. And I got to admit, I do have a couple of zombie tools that I'm going to be putting on this channel for you guys to see. But that's going to come later. because I have swords, tomahawks, multi-tools, fixed blades, folders, dress knives, gentleman folders, you know, just all kinds of stuff for this channel for you guys to look forward to. Alright, so here it is as a mess. I'm going to use a little bit of white wine vinegar. On there. Like I said, I wish I had a spray bottle. And as you can tell, the rust is coming off. It's just being decrepit. Yeah, the rust is coming off. It's just a very, very rusty knife. Look at that. Yeah, you can see the blade under all that rust. Alright, so like I said, if you have something that's really rusted, you could use the baking soda and the white wine vinegar. But these are just the items that I know that I wanted to use for this video particularly to do this. You know what? I'm going to run it through the vinegar just a couple more times. Why not, right? I got a whole nother bottle of this stuff, so it's not like I'm going to be using it for cooking anytime soon. That's not what the intention of using that stuff. But yeah, you just let it sit on the blade for a little bit if you really wanted to. When you scrub, try to do like circular motions. I feel like that's a little bit more effective than the whole like up and down motion that I've been doing. Because the whole, like what I'm doing right now, up and down, try to do circular motions. I think it's more effective if you're able to. Works better. For me, I'm just trying to get this stuff. Whew. Trying to get it off of there because there's a whole lot of it on there. Yeah, so my buddy wanted me to clean up his katana that was all rusted, and I mostly used a rust eraser because his katana that he left out there was less than, I think it was less than $300, but still, that's a pretty expensive. I mean, I'm pretty sure that a machete like this doesn't cost $300. But the katana that I was entrusted to clean up was like a little over 200, but under 300 bucks. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I could do the whole vinegar and baking soda thing for a while. And I'm not gonna do that because the video is already close to 30 minutes long. So this stuff does work. If you want to try it, go ahead. I might bounce back to white wine and vinegar a little bit later. But right now, it looks like we've got about, I want to say about like maybe 50 or 60% of it. So I guess that's good. But I know that this machete is going to be used as an outdoor piece. So I'm not going to try and over clean it, but removing the rust will help with the longevity of the blade anyways, so it's going to help out a lot. Just try and clean it up the best that I can using these basic household items. But a little bit of rust can do a lot of damage, can cause pitting, or even worse, it can weaken the finish on the blade, causing chips and cracks. So just be really mindful about what you guys are doing and how you're going to go about doing it. Just be very careful about it. The last thing you want to do is make a mistake and it be the ultimate mistake and costing you a very expensive knife or otherwise. So yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to use my rust eraser and I'm just going to go over it. And now the rust eraser is something that I'm very familiar with. And it removes rust. But you just got to be careful with it because it can remove finishes as well that's on the blade. So just be very, very mindful about what you do and how you go about doing it and what you use. But yeah, this is my good old-fashioned rust eraser. Now, you're probably going to wonder to yourself, well, can this rust eraser be used as a regular eraser? And the answer to that is, I don't think so. I think the rust eraser is strictly meant for rust. Pencil marks on a piece of paper, I think this eraser is way too abrasive for that. If anything, you'll just end up ripping your paper with it. But what do I know? I only use it for what it's made for, so I don't know. You could try it out if you want to. And tell me what you think. If you have a rust eraser, take it to a piece of paper with pencil markings to it and tell me. Let me know in the comments down below whether or not it actually works on paper without ruining the paper. Because I think this is a lot harder of a type of rubber material, and it's got a mixture of stuff in it. So I don't know. My arm is getting tired. But boy. Oh. Alright, never mind. I was gonna say I gotta take a break. What the heck? Oh, that's right, because of the vinegar and the baking soda. I was wondering why there was a caked on layer of schmutz. Sorry. Table's shaking. Everything's shaking. But yeah, so